What is up, y'all? Welcome to the 20th episode of the Time Report podcast. My name is Jax Weber. I appreciate y'all tuning in today. Yes, we made it to 20 episodes. First, I want to start to say appreciate all of y'all. It's been a blessing and a journey. We have so much to go forward. This is just the start of the podcast, and it's just a blessing to do this. And we have a big show for you guys today. If y'all are checking this out for the first time, if y'all can support, like, subscribe, do all that stuff, share with the Titans fan as much as y'all can. That'd be greatly appreciated. Today we have a big episode. Brian Callahan is fired for the first time. We're going to be talking about it. Who's been taking over as interim for the rest of the season? We'll be talking about that as well. Can't believe I'm talking about head coaching hirings in October. And then Mike Vrabel's coming home. We're talking about that as well. We're talking about the Patriots, how the game status, how do I see the Titans maybe taking advantage of the Patriots, how they're going to stop them on both sides of the ball, especially the red hot offense. Also, any changes to the play calls, some injuries, and more. So welcome into the 20th episode. I appreciate you guys tuning in. Last time we talked about, it was a tough loss versus the Raiders, and you're 1-5, and you were kind of getting to this point where, okay, well, how long are they going to keep Brian Callahan? That's pretty much the whole point here. And we found out the next morning, on Monday morning, literally right after I posted the show, 2 hours after, Brian Callahan is fired. The Titans decided to pull the trigger, and that is the only reason why we're kind of surprised. Is it's been less than a month into the season. This is how bad things have really, really gotten. And, we heard about a couple weeks ago, I think Jeremy Fowler put it out on ESPN, Titans coaching staff was worried. And now here we go. And Brian Callahan's gone. So Mike McCoy is taking over as interim head coach. My thoughts on it, first of all, I just want to thank Callahan. And I want to say, he's a human being. We're all human beings here. I do want to give my respect to Callie and everything he's done for the organization. Even, hasn't worked out. He's 4-19. I get it. Still want to give grace to him as a human, and best of luck to him and his family, though, because especially all his respect. I mean, all of us should. But really, why, right? Why did this happen? Number one, the Titans ownership was getting frustrated. Amy, Chad Brinker, Mike Borgonzi, Chad Brinker and Mike Borgonzi came out the same night, and they both said that they were getting frustrated with Brian Callahan. They were getting, they didn't see any improvement since last year. It's kind of hard when you went 3-14 last year and you only get one win this year and you get 5 losses, and boom, that's kind of what can you. So, yeah, that's one thing. Another thing, number two, is that when Jeffrey Simmons kind of came out on Sunday after the Raiders, I know it's just a lot of it was just frustration. We talked about it. We played that for you guys on the show last weekend, if you have not checked that one out, that, this was the first glimpse of a fade, right? I mean, we haven't seen anything with the Titans players losing respect or anybody in the locker room losing respect for Callahan, but this was the first step of, I think, just losing some respect in the locker room for Brian Callahan. Cam Ward and Jeffrey Simmons both said the Titans had a worse practice, and that's another thing ownership looked at as well. And number three, I would say your ex is coming into town. I would call it as your ex is coming into the back into Nashville, your former head coach, Mike Vrabel. And Amy didn't really want to get embarrassed. So that is 3 things why the Titans decided to do this now. And, what I look from here is the Titans can't get worse from here, okay? We cannot get worse from here. We can only go up from here. And hopefully Mike McCoy can help Cam Ward strive for the rest of the season and see improvement. And then hopefully next year we get a guy who can come in and take care of business. I like Mike McCoy. So let's kind of give a breakdown on Mike McCoy, because I know some of you guys who don't know him really wants to know about him. Mike McCoy is a senior offensive assistant. He was hired back in March. He is a former head coach with the San Diego Chargers, 2013, 2016. He's been with the Panthers, been with the Broncos, Chargers, Cardinals, and the Jaguars. So he's been with some quarterbacks, Trevor Lawrence before. He's been with Peyton Manning before, Phillip Rivers before. So some good names right there as well. He went 27-37 with the Chargers. He led the Chargers to a playoff appearance, but they lost the playoffs. This is Mike McCoy's second chance. So, yeah, I'm very excited to see what Mike McCoy does. And if you all have not listened to an interview, please do. It was a very fiery interview. He said a lot of good things as a coach. So I'm very excited for him. My thing is on Sunday, though, it just matters is how this takes results to Sunday, right? That's kind of the biggest important thing here is, right? I like how he talked. I like how he addressed the room, right? But matters is how do you play on Sunday? That's going to be the biggest thing here. Another coaching staff is Bill Callahan. will not be retained. He got resigned, and Scott Farches and Mike Jones will be the offensive line and coaches still. So they'll be the head offensive line coaches now. But Hardigree would continue to call plays. So that's some things to keep in mind of right there. So I like Mike McCoy. We'll see what happens there. Fortunately, before we talk about Vrabel coming back to Nashville, before we talk about anything with the Patriots, unfortunately, we got some injury problems and maybe some help coming back into Nashville. So on Tuesday, the Titans have promoted edge Ali Gay from the practice squad to the 53-man roster. Femi Oladejo, who had a good game on Sunday, is going on the IR. That is a huge blow to the Tennessee Titans defense, who is having some problems now at edge. I'm going to get you all today's by Jim Wyatt. We're going to get today's injury report, but it's not good. It's not great. But Femi Oladejo is going to IR and he'll be missing 4 games. However, though, what I'm trying to say, Devondre Sweat is coming back from injured reserve and he's expected to be back. Hopefully he'll be back this week as well. That's huge. So we're getting some help, but we're losing Femi. So it's kind of a loss right there. Sweat did talk about, I did listen to his interview. If y'all want to check it out, go to Jim Wyatt Sports on X or Instagram. He's there. He talked about basically how he kind of had a setback and he just did not feel right. And then, he got injured again in practice on that Thursday. That is why Devondre Sweat was on injured reserve. So Sweat's back now. He says he feels great, saying he's taking it day by day. But that's encouraging for Devondre Sweat because we definitely need him Sunday. So we'll see what happens there. But that's some huge, huge news for Tennessee. We'll see if we will be able to play. Injury report. This is before. I know if you guys listen to this on Friday, I will do a little video on that about the final injury report. But right now, this is what it's looking like. I'm going to get New England's as well. So Blake Hance, who's been out for a couple weeks, he's limited with the shoulder. He might expect to be playing. Marcus Harris with the calf injury, expected to be playing. Van Jefferson ankle, expected to be playing. First DNP, Draymond Jones, who did not get hurt. He got hurt and he has knee injury and he's questionable right now. That's not good. Your edge group is down Femi and could be down Arden Key, who's also out of the quad. So you could be out Draymond Jones and Arden Key on Sunday. So, yeah, you can be missing 3 edge guys. That is not great. We'll see how that goes. We'll see if one of them does practice tomorrow. Arden Key's 2 days DNP. Jones 1 day. Tyler Lockett, rest, fine, full. James Lynch's shoulder, he is limited today. Came back to practice today. Bryce Oliver, knee limited. Hopefully he can come back. John Bones also was talking about him. Calvin Ridley did not practice. So Ridley is 100% possible he could be out on Sunday. That's something to monitor there. Jeffrey Simmons rest, fine. Joey Sly, huge improvement. He is limited. So that's huge. So we'll see if Joey Sly can go Sunday. John Bones Fossil did say, the special teams coordinator did say that he was practicing at Nissan Stadium. He was kicking field goals. And he did look good. It just matters is how his physical does, how he feels. He might be able to go. Sleed with a quad. Okay. So he's also limited. Devondre Sweat, we all know that ankle limited. He is not on the active roster. So like Spears, he would have to get activated on Saturday on the low walkthrough to see if he can get going to good. Kevin Winston Jr. hamstring limited and Kevin Zeitler rest. He practiced full. Let's get to New England's, and the former friend, Harold Landry, is the only one who is DNP with the ankle. So we'll see if he practices tomorrow, but he could be questionable Sunday also. Charles Woods is DNP with a knee injury. Stephon Diggs limited with the chest. Hawkins safety is limited with the hamstring. Fernie Jennings ankle limited. Marte Mapu limited with the neck. Morgan Moses is questionable, limited with the hip injury. Christian Barmo, defensive tackle, rest. Christian Gonzalez, our top corner, hamstring full. Keon White, defensive end, elbow full. So that's injury updates for Tennessee. I'm a little bit nervous for Harold Landry. Let's get into, basically, before I get into locker room frustrations at the end, let's talk about the Patriots offense, Patriots defense. Yeah, Harold Landry, I'm scared for. Harold Landry It's been having a great start in the 2025 season so far. And I think Titans fans should be a little bit worried about him on Sunday. Obviously, y'all know Harold Landry, we cut him last year. It was just bound to happen, right? When New England called him, they brought him in. Harold Landry is questionable. He has 13 tackles, 4.5 sacks, forced fumble so far this season. And Harold Landry will be going against J.C. Latham on Sunday. We'll see how that matchup goes. I'm a little bit interested to see how that matchup goes as well. I'm very excited about that. Another person on New England who I'm a little bit worried about, Robert Spillane, is looking good. And another former friend, Jack Hippins. So the Patriots just have former Titans just everywhere on this roster. And they brought Thomas Olakuda today. So again, a ton of former friends on Tennessee's roster, on New England's roster. A lot of Titans fans should be looking at this on Sunday and be interested about this. So Patriots defense, they did decent last week against the Saints. Their run game was great. They stopped Alvin Kamara and their backup last week. But the Patriots passing game was a little bit struggling. Christian Gonzalez is out there. Marcus Jones is out there also. But we'll see how the Tennessee Titans can go out there and execute Sunday. I want to see how Cam Ward can go on Sunday, especially against the Patriots defense. They don't have much depth. That's something to keep in mind about. So I'm a little bit excited Sunday to see how Mike Vrabel comes back into Nashville. I call him the X. I'm going to call Vrabel the X. Okay, Mike Vrabel is the Tennessee Titans X. So we're officially having to come back to Nashville. I'm a little bit excited. But I am nervous for Drake Maye. He had the best pressure percentage last week in the league, most percentage deep ball last week in the league. And the Patriots offensive line only allowed 1 sack. So, and again, missing your top edge guys is going to be a big problem, right? So, Jahad Ward's going to have to step up. Jaden Harrell's going to have to step up. Ali Gay on that roster is also going to have to step up. So hopefully those guys will step up. Hopefully Arden or Draymond Jones does try to play Sunday. But if those guys do not go, yeah, we're going to have Jahad Ward and also Ali Gay step up. I'm a little bit interested to see how that goes Sunday. Patriots run game is not great at all. They lost Antonio Gibson a couple weeks ago. And, Trayvon Henderson he's okay. He's the backup. He's just not having a good start to the season. Ramondre Stevenson's also not great. So hopefully Tennessee, we will take advantage of that and stop the run. I'm Jeffrey Simmons. Javondre Shreds plays. I'll be better about the defensive line. But we'll see how those guys play. I'm a little bit worried for Kayshon Boutte. What a name, first of all. Second of all, this guy's a beast. This guy's had a great start for New England so far. He had a couple touchdowns. He gets open really well. And New England does not have any super flashy receivers, but they have receivers who can get downfield and get open. Kayshon Boutte is about one to keep an eye on. Douglas as well had a nice touchdown last week. Stephon Diggs is dealing with the injury. He's still Stephon Diggs. I think Stephon Diggs is still a good receiver in the league. And then you have Hunter Henry and Mac Hollins. So some decent weapons for New England. I saw New England last week. They can punch out the ball a lot. New England's really good at punching out the ball, and guess you know why? Mike Vrabel. So, again, that's something to keep in mind of as well. Robert's been playing with 11 tackles last week. Again, we have to see if Calvin Ridley's going to go, because now you're looking at the Tennessee offense last week. Cam Ward definitely, I know it wasn't his best week. I know offensive line definitely really struggled for Tennessee last week. That's something you have to keep in mind of. And it might be a hard week with Milton Williams and Christian Barmore and Harold Landry. If all those guys do go, that can have a big problem for Cam Ward. That can be a big problem. I do want to play a clip, though, for anything. This is Titans defensive lineman Jeffrey Simmons talking about this week of facing Mike Vrabel.
I mean, I guess shocked at first. Didn't expect it. Should no one expect it. This early or to happen. I guess, especially so early in the season. But it happened, and it's the business we're in, and we all have a job, and our job is to prepare for the Patriots and get ready for this week.
What's your initial impression of Mike?
He came and let us know his, how things gonna go forward, and we all, bought into it, and our thing is, we got to make sure we're doing our part of helping them out as leaders, as captains, to keep this locker room together and making sure, like I said, the biggest focus is get ready to go play against a good football team that coming in here that I'm sure that's going and try to embarrass us at home. So our job is to go out there and just do our part. Like I said, his message to the team, is what his message was, and like I said, I'm sure, especially myself, we bought in, and I'm ready to move forward.
What's your thought?
All right, so y'all heard from Jeffrey Simmons right there talking about the firing Brian Callahan. Look what looking forward to with Mike McCoy and how the team's energy is right now. They got to move on, man. We all got to move on. Cam Ward said the same thing. We all got to move on. Everyone's going to have to support the decision, and they're going to have to move on from it. Comment I do want to get into is there's some locker room frustrations. Jeffrey Simmons was upset at J.C. Latham this week. Oh, boy. Jeffrey Simmons came out, and this is from the Athletics' Michael Silver. The Titans' struggles at games can be traced back to their uneven efforts of practice. Simmons stopped the session to call out second-year right tackle J.C. Latham. I've watched you for the last 10 plays. This ain't it. Simmons said to J.C. Latham, we need more from you. And J.C. struggled Sunday. And he said he let the team down. So, obviously, I get it with Simmons calling people out, right? Yeah, I totally understand that, and I like that he's holding people to accountability. I actually really like this comment. I get it, what J.C. Latham's going through. I know a little bit injuries are tough, but Simmons is right? We need more from you. Exactly. And I'm glad that Jeffrey Simmons is finally coming out and saying this, and that's one of the reasons why the Tennessee Titans staff woke up, and they're like, hey, man, this isn't working out. And that's why they came out and said, hey, man, we're going to make a change. Another thing is Cam Ward made a comment. He said this, once I play how I want to play, I think the league will be, the word. So that's Cam Ward putting that out there. So who do you guys want as Titans head coach? That's what we're going to do with the question of the podcast. There's multiple answers. I mean, there's no right or wrong yet. It's still October 16th, the day I'm filming this, man. We don't have – it's crazy we're talking about head coaches right now. I will leave you all as this. I don't think there's a clear favorite right now. I think there's some good handful of candidates. I would think right now Mike McCarthy's on that list. Cliff Kingsbury's on that list. Arthur Smith could be on that list. There's a handful of names, right? There's a lot of guys who can be in this job. It is a tiny bit interesting, right? You could have a top draft pick. Cam Ward's still here. Jeffrey Simmons could still be here. Hopefully he's not traded. And you're going to definitely have the most cap in the league. So that's also interesting. You have a lot of money to play with. Especially you can get some roster cuts. You can have more money to play with. There's a lot to be interested in, right, for this roster. Another thing we have to keep in mind of, there's Tennessee Titans and Kansas City Chiefs have engaged in starting talks for conversations starting to send running back Tony Pollard to Kansas City for this year's November 4th trading deadline. Again, interesting. Additionally, the Buffalo Bills have expressed interest in Calvin Ridley as well. It's uncertain that Tennessee does want to trade away Cam Ward's best weapons on offense. But the rumor mill is getting hot, and it's October 16th, like I said. I'm a little bit interested. I probably wouldn't trade Pollard just because Tennessee's running back room might be a little messed up. And if they do trust Tyjae Spears going forward, that's a conversation you can have of trading Tony because he has a year and a half under control still. So that's something you can keep in mind of as well. So we'll probably be at Kansas City for another year and a half. We'll see where that goes. I'm not too concerned about that right now. You guys shouldn't be too concerned either. It's still October 16th. We have a lot going to happen. And who knows? A trade can happen anytime. We can't really control it. We're just fans. We don't make the front office decisions. But that's just my take on it. But let's see if Tennessee can get a upset win this week against New England and Mike Vrabel to spoil the victory. Let's see what our X does coming back to Nashville, Tennessee this weekend. I hope you guys have a great rest of your weekend. I hope the Tennessee Titans somehow pull out a win. And we'll talk more about Tennessee Titans versus Patriots game recap on Sunday's podcast. Have a great rest of your weekend, everybody. And always, tie it up.